Greetings, dear friends. Welcome to the Creative Society TV and our regular international discussions. Landslides and mudslides in Colombia, Tajikistan, India, Indonesia, earthquake in Afghanistan, fires in Cyprus, Kazakhstan, and Russian Federation, floods in Indonesia, Brazil, Pakistan, Mexico, China, storms in Paraguay, Philippines, Punjab, Germany, abnormal hail and snow, and at the same time, abnormal heat waves. These are only few of the climate disasters which happened within the last 5 days. And behind all these events, there are destructions of houses, crops, there are destruction of people's lives. And do we really know what is happening with our planet? And are we ready as society to cope with such drastic change in our lifestyle? This and other global crises which we face as humanity, and the most important, what is the real way out, were voiced at the International Online Forum, Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, which took place on May 7, 2022. The truth was voiced by people from all over the world in 100 languages, so that everyone knows what is the real way out for us as humanity.
Greetings, dear friends. I would like to introduce our today's respected guests. We have with us Ravi Kumar. He is a guest faculty in Rajnarayan College, Department of Mathematics, and also a researcher in the field of cosmology, and he comes from Bihar. And we also have with us Abhijit Chakraborty. He is a writer, a blogger, and author of the book Beyond in Ria Creek from West Bengal. We are honored to have you with you, dear friends. Dear viewers, we invite you to take part in the international discussions. If you are also concerned about what is going on with our planet and with our society, please feel free to write us to info@creativesociety.com and share your understanding. Abhijit, I know that you watched the forum that Anya mentioned that was held on the May 7th. And I would like to ask you what topics from the forum impressed you the most, and in your opinion, what is the most acute crisis that we as humanity are facing nowadays?
Well, hello, everyone. Hello, dear friends, and all the viewers from across the globe. Thank you so much for inviting me to this wonderful discussion on global problems and issues. And yes, I have been following the different programs of Creative Society for quite some time. And it's absolutely important to bring our attention and focus to the different global problems of climate change, food crisis, long wars between nations, destruction of life and property. So there are a lot of things that are happening at the same time, and it's happening quite rapidly. So I really like the initiative of Creative Society of informing more and more people in the world about the various occurrences and how can we bring about a change, or how can we prevent such situations, or how can we reduce the loss. So as a fellow human being, I think it's my moral responsibility to join a team or group of people who have dedicated their lives for the betterment of society, to change, to positively change the environment, to provide free education to everyone, and so that everyone is healthy, there is access to universal healthcare. So, yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me here, and we'll have a great discussion today.
Thank you so much, Abhijit. And, it's really wonderful that participants of the project, these are millions of people around the world, and this project is actually a project for all humanity. Because today, as you said, we see crisis in all the spheres of our life. And the only way to deal with global crisis is the global unification of people. Thank you so much also for your real concern about that, what was happening with our planet. And I would like to ask a question to you, Ravi, as well. Could you please share your impression on the topics which were voiced at the forum and what impressed you the most?
So thank you so much everyone for inviting me or having here. And the most impressive thing that I saw in that society, and my major concern is that that microplastic, that we are facing a lots of problem in this field, because from morning to go to the bed we are too much using the plastics, and over the period when plastic is get reduced, their smallest particle, which size is more than less than 10 micron, which is directly goes from our body from different way, like when we are eating something from plastic packaging food, or drinking water also. So there are several methods that we are consuming microplastic in different way. So my concern is that how can we reduce that use of plastic, not to do individual work, but we get together and work with the company one who producing the plastic, and the company who is providing us services with the packaging food items, and one individual who are using or consuming that plastic in different mode, sometime like a bag, sometime food products also. So my concern is that how can we reduce the use of plastic, and because ultimately it's a threat for humanity, and if we cannot reduce the use of plastic, then it may be create a big problem in the future. So my concern is that, and thank you.
Yes, Ravi, I agree with you that the problem with polluting our environment is very, especially with plastic, is a very acute problem. One of our acute problems in consumer society that we are living today. And especially if you consider the ocean, we all know that ocean is giving us life, and that at the same time it is kitchen of the weather. And as you mentioned, with the plastic and microplastic, on one hand we have polluted the ocean really heavily. There is a whole continent of plastic found in also formed in the ocean, and we can find plastic in deep ocean animals, and also in the marine trench, which is very, very deep. So it's a big problem, and this is totally our responsibility. And but on the other hand, we have another big problem, and that is the changes that are happening in the ocean that have actually nothing to do with human factors, and but are already influencing our lives, and not in a good way. And I propose that we watch together a short video from the Forum Global Crisis, We Are People, We Want to Live, about the ocean, and find out more together.
The ocean is the source of life for the entire planet, and for us, humans. But it ceases to be the source of life. It is about to become the source of our death. Just think about it. Ocean warming has increased by 450% in just 30 years. According to scientific estimations, for the ocean to heat up at today's rate, it would take as much energy as would be released if 7 atomic bombs dropped on Hiroshima would explode every second for a year. The direst fact is that the ocean is heating not only on the surface, but also at depth. A team of US researchers has found that the average depths of the ocean warmed 15 times faster over the past 60 years than they had been warming over the previous 10,000 years. And this progression is accelerating every year. At At the moment, science has no explanation where this amount of heat comes from. The only theories being considered are that the oceans are warming from the sun and from human emissions of the greenhouse gas CO2. But they can only explain heating of the upper layers of the ocean to a depth of up to 200 meters, because sun rays do not penetrate deeper. The water can be maximally heated by the sun up to 700 meters as a result of agitation. How can we explain the numerous facts of warming of the deep ocean layers? Think about it. How much energy does it take to heat such a volume of water as the world's oceans? Let's dive to the ocean floor and see what sources of powerful heat are out there. Volcanoes. 75% of all Earth eruptions occur from underwater volcanoes. However, given the size of the ocean, the energy of even such strong underwater eruptions is not enough to heat it up. Since active volcanoes are not located everywhere, and their eruptions are occasional. Why, then, has the ocean heated up so much over the past 30 years? There are even more powerful energy sources that have activated only recently. For the past few decades, Earth has been entering a phase of cyclical cataclysms with a period of 12,000 years. In 1998, a jump in the Earth's core was registered. The displacement of the center of mass causes a jump-like acceleration of the planet's rotation and an increase in centrifugal forces. As a result, magma rises sharply from the depths, in which a cavitation effect occurs due to pressure release. Because of this, magma boils and expands in volume. Its pressure on the Earth's crust increases. This uplifts the Earth's crust, causing it to crack and break, and magma rushes into the resulting cavities, rising higher and higher to the surface. We already see examples of such anomalous heating everywhere, not only on the bottom, but also on the surface. At the end of 2013, a huge area of unusually warm ocean water, about 1/3 the size of the United States, formed in the Gulf of Alaska and began to spread. The water temperature in many places exceeded the norm by 5 to 6 degrees Celsius. National Geographic dubbed it the blob that cooked the Pacific. Nick Bond, state climatologist for Washington, named this phenomenon the blob. The appearance of such anomalies began to suddenly become more frequent. There is something common that unites the places of formation of all these blobs. These are geologically active regions with a young, thin crust, with active underwater volcanoes, cracks, and deep crustal fractures. These are places of the most active output of hot and fluid magma. The ocean is called the kitchen of weather. The warming of its waters already enhances catastrophic typhoons and hurricanes, which annually claim thousands of human lives. The unprecedented heating of the ocean suggests that the ocean is already exhausting its ability to contain the energy trying to escape from the bowels of the Earth. And when magma reaches the denser and thicker rocks of the continental crust, which on average is 2 to 3 times thicker than the oceanic crust, then the processes of cascading eruptions of land volcanoes will begin, and it will be too late to stop this process or to seek salvation. We must do everything now so as not to regret later on that we didn't do enough to build the creative society. We can build the creative society only together. The participation of every person is important. Take action before it's too late.
This video really shows that, as we discussed, from one side we have huge problem with ecological, with microplastic and so on, but at the same time we face a huge problem of natural source, and that is something which we also need to deal with. I just would like to ask to comment on this video, like to share your understandings, maybe what information was new from this video, or what we know about ocean and planet we're living. So, Ravi, could you please share your opinion about this?
Actually, I stand here about that the oceanic temperature is also rising. This is the first time that I am hearing that fact. So I think every problem is related to each other. If we solve them simultaneously from our little step, and then finally we can reduce the problem because 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 every problem is really connected to each other. Like naturally, when happening, then human life is also disturbed in the same time. Uh, but sometimes natural climate is also disturbed. So there is a multiple factor that responsible for that. So just we have to work on it and we have to reduce it.
Thank you, Ravi, for your opinion. And Abrajit, I would like to ask you, what do you think? Is it possible to solve this problem in our current consumer formative society?
Well, that's a very thought-provoking question because most of us are being misled by popular media, by the governments of various countries. We are made to believe that all the catastrophes, all the natural disasters are a result of only human activity, which is not entirely true. It doesn't mean that I'm defending uh, the point that whatever we've done is right. No, we have definitely polluted the environment, but that's just one small part of a bigger pie. So as it was mentioned in this video, that every 12,000 years, the climate changes and the temperature rises because of tectonic activities, and then there's magma or lava that rises to the crust. So it's not a fairy tale. It's a real it's a real thing, and a lot of geologists and a lot of seismologists and climate experts already know about this. But what's really concerning is that this knowledge is not shared in popular media. You would never see any news channel, any NGO, or any popular platform talking about it, because we are being led towards a guilt-ridden movement where everybody is, um, being being led to feel guilty, and they're really shameful of their actions. So it's a purely scientific thing that every 12,000 years, these cyclical events, these changes occur. And it was, I think, the Holocene period, 12,000 years ago, when humans had survived a major catastrophe. And 12,000 years ago, we did not have a consumerist format or a consumerist society. People used to live a very simple life, and most of the humans were hunters and gatherers. And at that time, agriculture had kind of started in some parts of the world, like 10 to 12,000 years ago. Now, after so many years, now that we're here in a very aggressive consumerist society, that brings me back to your question, that what are our chances of surviving or bringing a change in this consumeristic society? Of course, it's not going to help us because nobody is going to tell us the truth. All right. And a lot of green energy companies, so-called, green energy companies or life-saving companies have stepped in, and they're suggesting that, we switch to alternative sources of power and we rely on, solar energy and wind energy. I mean, okay, they are good alternatives, but they're not showing the real picture. So I think we humans have lived for the majority of our time on this earth as a well-connected society, and it was not at all consumeristic. We did not have a lot of things to buy back in those days, but humans were happy. I mean, if you talk about the data from the most industrialized countries, like the US, the UK, and even if you talk about manufacturing giants like China and developing economies like India, the percentage of depressed people is quite high. So it clearly proves that with more commodities, with more products, with more trendy things, we're not happier. I mean, it doesn't equate to happiness. On the contrary, it's leaving us with a more hollow and meaningless life. So we definitely need to switch back our gear to the way we used to function as humans. We had a more purposeful life. We had time for our society, time for our families. And at the same time, we did not base our happiness on just products and gadgets and whatnot.
Thank you so much for sharing. And it's really true that in our consumer society, it's complete paradox that we are doing that what is harming our life. And when we're talking about this 12,000 year cycle, so we really killed our planet. And even if we just stop using anything, anyway, our planet is in such condition that it will not survive this cycle. It will not survive that effect which is coming from outside. And it's really a task today for us as humanity to unite all our potential. As we talk today, that we have problems with plastics, we have problems with ecology, we have problems with climate. So how important it is that we unite scientists from all the spheres. And all together, we are working on finding real solutions. And yes, that's true. To do it, we first need to know the truth. And this truth should be available for every person on our planet, so that we could unite the scientific and human potential. So thank you so much for voicing that. And it's one more showing that we can solve it only all together. And also, I just would like to say that already today, we have such technologies which can ensure a good life for every person. With climate disasters and other conflicts, we see that millions of people are becoming refugees, people are losing their houses, people are losing their normal lifestyle. But let's watch a video from the forum which shows which solutions we have already today.
In our civilized world, hundreds of millions of people are homeless. People live on the streets like stray dogs. And billions of people in the world survive in terrible conditions. This number is increased by dozens of millions of refugees every year. As climatic disasters escalate, the number of people left homeless will grow rapidly. The afflicted people are forgotten by everybody. They continue to live without assistance in harsh, inhumane conditions, months and even years after natural disasters. And how does that apply to me, you might ask? Directly. In cruel conditions of the consumerist format and the growing climate crisis, you have only two choices. Either you stay on the street or those left homeless come into your home. Why are we allowing this to happen if we have modern technology? After all, there are already solutions in place that can expeditiously provide people with housing.
At the beginning of the epidemic in Wuhan, China was able to build a hospital having 1,000 beds in just 10 days, using modular construction technology. A few days later, the building of the second hospital was finished. The construction process could be watched live on TV. Earlier, back in the year 2003, a similar hospital for the treatment of SARS was built in Beijing within only 7 days. In India, a building record was broken in 2012 for a seismically stable 10-story building within 48 hours. And in the year 2021, in China, a 10-story house was erected within only 28 hours and 45 minutes. Small, self-contained modular units had been prefabricated at the factory. After the basic structure was assembled, the specialists installed water and electricity in the building. The high-rise building was finished fully furnished. In the portfolio of Chinese developers, there is experience of building a 30-story 5-star hotel within 15 days and a 57-story skyscraper within 19 days. It's been 4 years now that there's a technology for the production of folding houses. The assembly line produces folding structures of about 35 square meters, and they take only 48 minutes to assemble. Not hours, minutes. The owner only needs to bring a sofa in because plumbing, kitchen furniture, and appliances are already included in the package. The houses are fireproof, frostproof, waterproof, and resistant to hurricane-strength winds. 3D printing technology allows, in just 1 to 2 days, to build houses of different sizes and a number of stories. The houses are affordable and take only a few weeks to be ready for accommodation. In order to print walls, a 3D printer can use the building materials of the area in which it operates. Those include concrete mix, sand, stone, and even volcanic ash. The houses are earthquake resistant. Back in the year 2014, a Chinese company presented houses built with the help of 3D printing technology at a cost of just a little over £3,000 sterling. A year later, it improved the technology and printed a 5-story house. Such technology could provide housing for all people while preserving their lives and health. But in a consumer society, the first question is not how to save your life, but how to make money off that. In the consumerist format of society, you are left alone with your problems. In fact, nobody cares about you. It's time to change from the consumer society to the creative one. In the creative society, the life of each person is important. Human life is its base and foundation. That is why technology is used for the sake of life, but not for the sake of profit. And technology is aimed exclusively at improving the quality of human life. As you can see, the technologies that can provide every person with a home already exist, but the conditions of the consumerist format do not allow their implementation. So, the only thing that can be done is to change the format to a creative one, because the creative society guarantees security for each person and therefore provides people with quality and comfortable housing. Tell everyone about this, and then we will quickly build the creative society.
Yes, like it was voiced in this video and also shown at the forum, we see that with modern technologies already today, every person could have enough food, enough clean water, and very comfortable housing. And Abhijit, I would like to ask you, please share with us your understanding. Why do we need to change the format to the creative society? And maybe, in your opinion, what benefits will it give to every person on our planet?
The video was pretty interesting, and it clearly showed us a sustainable model which not only saves the lives of people, hundreds and thousands of people across the globe, but it also saves a lot of money. And a lot of developing countries and underdeveloped countries don't have that kind of money to build big houses or luxurious apartments. But yes, this model is quite affordable, and it's earthquake proof and fire proof and snow and hail proof. So that's an excellent idea. And I think the consumerist format or the consumer society is based on a money-making mechanism. It only thinks about making profit. So it's true that nobody cares about us because everybody who's a part of this society is just a number, and every number generates money. And that's why consumption is encouraged. Consumption is not encouraged because it would improve your life, it would improve your standard of living. No, it just improves the scheme of profit making. And only a chosen few, only a few business magnates or people with strong political connections benefit out of it. They get all the profit, whereas the whole world suffers. So yes, that has to change. More people need to be aware that there is a better alternative, and it's one that has that has been in place for thousands of years. In fact, people used to live a very peaceful and a decent life until the advent of industrial revolution, when everybody switched to a consumerist model, because a lot of new things, a lot of products, a lot of the new items give you an instant hit of pleasure. Your dopamine surges, and it's very addictive. That's one of the reasons why people get addicted to even alcohol and smoking. So again, in the long run, it's not a healthy model at all, and it would definitely it won't necessarily save the lives of millions of people. On the contrary, it's putting in danger the lives of all the earthlings. So yes, we need to change that.
Thank you so much. And that's true that we already have technologies. And when I'm just thinking about technologies which were shown just now, and also technologies which can get water from the air, for example, or even food from the air, even exists such a technology. And our viewers can watch that in the forum as well. So it shows how huge potential we have as humanity when we change the format from consumer-oriented, as you said, money-oriented, to the creative society, when we people ourselves define the standard of living how we live, when all resources belong to people, and we all together decide in which areas to invest and what to develop. And I'm sure we will develop science and all the best technologies which will really improve our life. So thank you so much. It's really an opportunity for every person. And Ravi, I just would like to ask you, in your opinion, how important that every person know this information, and how in fastest way we can bring this information to every person on our planet.
Artificial intelligence and artificial intelligence technology or robotic area. Many countries are underdeveloping country, or many countries is developed country. So we need to focus on those countries which is poor also, and one who is a developing country like India. So we need to enhance the technology which is poor in terms of technology. If you make a society like science advancement society, then very good for us, and country individually makes such everyone, and there is no need to depend on technology with your own citizen, and that's a benefit for us. We try to make the individual country also advanced scientific knowledge, because if individual country have a more advanced technology, then that their citizen make their own such building and may protect their own citizens. There is no need to burden to the other country.
It's really actually a good point that you mentioned, and because in the consumer format, each country fights for its own, for everything, and everything is divided, and that is the beauty of the creative society, because there is no divisions like that anymore, because we as humans are one family actually, and we live on one planet, and we should have these technologies that could benefit everyone, and they should be they should be made available to every person, no matter on which kind of planet he lives. And in consumer format, this is not possible, as we already said, because it's money-oriented and not human-oriented. But in creative society, where human life is the number one priority, all the technology, and it doesn't matter where, in which part of the world they will develop it, they will be used for everyone, and that will bring benefits to all of us. And this is great prospect for all the humanity. And we could also easily implement all the technologies that already exist, and in a very short period of time solve all the problems that we have created ourselves regarding the environment, regarding the ecology, regarding the food shortages, water shortages, and everything that was already mentioned by our guests today. So we only have to unite the scientific potential to solve the biggest problem that we have, and that is the climate problem, to understand everything regarding that problem and to find solutions so we can survive as humanity and create a bright and happy future for us, our loved ones, and also for the future generations.
Yes, thank you so much. And I just would like to ask if maybe you have some more message for the viewers or for people, what you would like to share about this opportunity which we all have as humanity. Because today it's really, we live in such a time when we have all the technology which we can communicate to each other, we can exchange knowledge, which is the most valuable, and we can unite as humanity and build such a world when really everything is about the human life and everything is made to improve the quality of human life. So I just would like to ask, what would be your message for viewers and for every person on this planet? Maybe Ravi, would you like to share?
One point I would like to is our neurons work on the principle of either use it or lose it. And we have also an idea or a theory, evolution theory by Charles Darwin. So in the same fashion, because today I am concerned about microplastic, is that so it may be that that's a funny suggestion, or it might be not as serious, but if our body or millions of species body is not able to consume that plastic or simply digest this from their own body, then there is a two situation is created. Either you consume that plastic and easily digest it, then you can easily live in this 21st of the century or upcoming time, or otherwise we have to find a solution that ultimately reduce the use of plastic, or somehow totally eliminate the use of plastic, and then it is easy for us. So it may be the chance that if we start consuming or easily digesting that plastic, then our shape and sizes totally get different, change totally different, or otherwise we are totally disappear from the planet Earth. So it's better that we should use or reduce the use of plastic and make our planet plastic-free planet. Then it is good for every species that live in our planet Earth. Thank you.
Thank you, Ravi. And Brigitte, do you have any additional message for our viewers? Please feel free to share.
Well, I would like to take this opportunity to tell all the viewers of this channel, all the viewers of this platform, that, just stop and take a moment to reflect upon the things that we need to do in order to change this society, change this beautiful planet. Because it's a time we start caring for others. It's time we start thinking about long-term goals instead of just thinking about our personal satisfaction. And we don't necessarily need, in fact, we don't need bloody revolutions or violence or acts of terror to bring about a change in this beautiful planet. All we need is cooperation, and we need an evolutionary process. The way our ancestors have evolved throughout ages, throughout millenniums, that share useful knowledge with others. There are a lot of problems that have been mentioned in the course of this discussion, like the climate change, food crisis, financial instability. But all of these things can be consistently managed if the right knowledge reaches all the parts of the globe. So yes, we need to make sure that there's a free flow of unadulterated information, which is not influenced by, capitalistic enterprises or by political campaigns. It should be absolutely free and unadulterated and made accessible to all the human beings who want to live, who want to leave behind a beautiful home for the future generations. And I think we are slowly moving towards the right path. The journey is very long, but we would eventually get there if we start working together right now and start thinking of this planet as our home and forget about our differences, nationalities, gender, color, or whatever distinctions are there. So these labels divide us. So think beyond these labels and help each other in passing on the right information. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thank you, dear guests. And thank you so much for this discussion. It's really true that today we have already an actual plan. Creative Society is that project which step by step showing how we as humanity can change the format. And the most beautiful thing, this, as you said, it's evolutionary development. And it can be done only in peaceful means, because we people will only benefit from it. Creative Society format is beneficial for every person on this planet. And this is that format which can be built accordingly to laws and regulations of every country in our world. So this is really opportunity for us as humanity to unite and to build the world which we always dreamed about. And today, in such situation when we have crisis in all the spheres of our life, information about Creative Society is that information which is showing people that we have solution. And it is that which inspires people to act and to share it further. So thank you so much for speaking about it today. Thank you so much for participating in this discussion. And thank you so much for being the part of this global movement of unity of all people.
Thank you, Anya, for having us here. Thank you, Creative Society. Thank you, Andrea.
Thank you, dear guests. Thank you, Abhijit.
Thank you, Ravi.
And also, dear viewers, if the topics that we raised today on this discussion are not leaving you indifferent, please join our discussions. Write an email to info@creativesociety.com, register on the website. And dear friend, if you are asking yourself, can I do alone? I must tell you that you're not alone, and that there are already millions of responsible people all over the world who act for the sake of life. And as Anya mentioned, and also Abhijit mentioned, sharing this information is actually already doing a lot. Because everyone benefits from building the creative society, and everyone benefits from being a united civilization. So thank you, dear guests, for joining our today's discussion, and dear viewers, for your attention. Take good care and see you soon.